The reason why I got started is because God told me to quit my job back in 2020. And when I quit my job, I was a TV producer, y'all. I was okay being a TV producer. What I wasn't okay doing was being underpaid, undervalued, and overwhelmed. That's what I wasn't okay with. And God had called me to quit my job in 2020. And then in 2020, He told me to start creating content full time. I didn't even know why. None of it made sense. His steps did not make sense because I would think if you quit your job with only $8,000 in your bank account, the next step is to apply for another job. Wouldn't you think that too? I was over here thinking, I'm about to land a 6-figure job. Yay, because I quit. But that wasn't the case. God told me to quit my job, and then He gave me the most bizarre step next, which was start creating content full time. Any of you ever been there before where you're listening to God and He gives you the most craziest steps? It reminds me of Abraham. Abraham in Genesis was living a good old life with his father, with his mother, with his friends, perfectly fine. And then God gives him the most bizarre step. He says, leave your father's home and go to a place that I will show you. That don't make no sense. Go to a place that I will show you. And some of you, that's the command that God gave you. God said, leave your job and start creating content full time. That's what He told me. I was like, that don't make no sense. Leave my security for insecurity. I'm leaving my comfort to be uncomfortable. That's where I was. But guess what? I did it. I followed the step. I started creating content full time. You know what started happening after that? I started growing my following. Let me tell you, prior to leaving my job, I was already posting content. My following was not growing. Ain't nobody was checking for me. I was stuck at 1,000 people for 2 years, 1,000 followers for 2 years. But when God blew on me and He said, start creating content full time, what happened was that blowing actually pushed my content to go viral. And I started growing my following like crazy. And I was like, this is crazy. I've never seen this before. So then I asked God, what's next? Because my follower count goes up, but not my bank account. How many of you in here know that just because you have a lot of followers don't mean that you're going to have a lot of buyers? Not everyone who followed Jesus was a believer. Not everyone who follows you is a buyer. And so that happened to me. I'm growing my following. It's growing. It's growing. It's growing. My bank account is not. And I'm like, okay, Lord, what's next? And God said to me, the reason why you're not making money is because you have nothing to offer. Let me tell you, that busted a myth for me because I truly, truly believed that in order for me to make money on social media, you just grow your following. How crazy is that? And God had to shift me. He was like, no. It's not just growing your following. You grow your following and you offer something to them. So I took a month off from social media and I came back with an offer. Here's the best part though, because when I grew my following, even when I wasn't selling anything, my audience started asking, what are you selling, Star? Your content is so good. What are you selling? We want to buy. I was like, what? They be doing that? Some of you, your content is not good enough for your audience to ask, how can I buy from you? But in your mind, you're like, I'm going to keep posting because this person grew their following in 30 days and they just posted 3 or 4 times a day. How's that working for you? Do you feel exhausted yet? Because I know for me, I'm 37. I can't post 3 or 4 times a day. That's exhausting. I run a 6-figure business with a team that I have to manage. Posting 3 or 4 times a day means that something's going to fall by the wayside. So instead, I posted strategically. But guess what happened? Now that I was growing my following and I had an offer, I started selling it to my audience and I built a 6-figure business, all because God said, quit your job. Now I'm not in here telling y'all to quit your job. So don't come back and be like, Star said, quit your job. No, I did not. I'm telling you what happened to me. God told me to quit my job. And then He told me to start creating content full time. And then He told me to start selling to my audience. And when I did that, I built a 6-figure business. There are some of you in here where you should have already hit 6 figures, but you didn't because you're dragging your feet. There's some of you in here where you should have already hit multiple 6 figures, but you haven't because you're still using an old marketing strategy.